I think one of the things that my wife and I discovered very early on, I mean, we knew that there was going to be a house inspection, but after that, we really weren't familiar with what other fees and what other things were going to hit us. And your team was really good about going, this is important, this isn't really maybe as important, and kind of setting it up and putting it in front of us what was most important to deal with next, and giving us an idea what the costs and what were coming at us. Can you talk a little bit about that for somebody who's looking at buying a house?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, one of the most unique things about North Carolina real estate is the due diligence fee. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. That the buyer pays to the seller. And the due diligence fee is a non-refundable amount of money that you pay to the seller, basically compensates them for taking their home off the market for whatever time that you've negotiated, and that amount is all over the place. Right now, we're seeing the due diligence fees pretty competitive in some of the under $300,000 price range because, well, the market's so competitive. I mean, we actually had a buyer do $5,000 in due diligence.
Wow.
That's how bad they wanted the house. And it was the perfect house for them, and it made sense, and it was a quality home. So, yes, did they risk $5,000? Potentially, yeah. If they didn't buy the house, certainly. But they had pretty good confidence they were going to move forward and purchase the property. But the other thing for the buyer is the due diligence fee actually gives you a really powerful position in that you can walk away from the deal for any or no reason at all. I don't even have, if we have a contract, I pay the due diligence fee to Keith, say $1,500. And 2 weeks later down the road, another house that comes up that's even better than Keith's house that I want to buy. I can cancel the contract with Keith. I don't even have to give him a reason, and I can go buy the other house. So you have a lot of freedom in that. And so, I look at it as basically an insurance policy. Now, the way real estate used to be done in North Carolina, the buyer did not have that much flexibility because we didn't have a due diligence fee back when I started. And so some buyers, I believe, kind of got pushed into buying homes that they probably didn't want because they didn't feel like there was really any way to get out of the contract. And that's one thing that the state changed. On the seller side, with the old way that we used to do business, sometimes the seller would have his home off the market for a considerable amount of time, and then the buyer would cancel, and they got nothing but their house back to sell to somebody else. And so it's not a perfect system, no question about it. I do think it's better than what it used to be because at least the seller is getting some compensation for taking their home off the market. The buyer is getting that advantage of being able to walk away for any or no reason. Does it cost money? Sure, but what in life doesn't cost money, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. So other costs associated with buying, you mentioned home inspection, so certainly that's something we recommend, and then you may even dig a little deeper. Maybe you have your own heating and cooling company come out and check the systems. Some people do pest inspections, radon survey, just to name a few. There's other things you can do, and sometimes some of those are required based upon the type of loan that you're getting. Not all loans require the same amount of inspections. But yeah, some of them do. So, if you think about a good vacation, typically we don't just jump in the car and say, hey, let's go south. And when we see something pretty, we'll stop and have vacation, right? We make a plan. We plan our vacation. We book the hotels, the beach house, the mountain house, whatever it is. You think about a sports team, they all have playbooks. Businesses should have plans of strategy. And buying a home is really no different. You need to have an action plan in place. One, to make sure you didn't miss anything, but really it just makes good overall sense, right? To sit down, have a clear action plan. How much is this money going to cost us? How much am I going to have to bring to the closing table to purchase my down payment plus whatever these fees are or these fees may be? And as you go through this system that we have, every single step, you gain more confidence in what you're buying. That way, when you get to closing, you can feel really great about the decision you made.